My name is Ada, and I'm about to tell you how my own parents stole $50,000 from me. Money that was supposed to pay for the spinal surgery I desperately needed, so they could throw themselves a lavish vow renewal party. But don't worry, because I'm also going to tell you exactly how I made them pay for it in court. This is a story about broken promises, shattered trust, and the kind of justice that only comes when you refuse to be a victim. It started 3 weeks ago when I was scrolling through Instagram and saw something that made my blood run cold. "Jessica, come look at this," I called to my cousin, who was visiting my apartment. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. She walked over and peered at my screen. "What am I looking at?" "My parents, at their vow renewal ceremony. Look at the caption." Jessica read aloud, "Celebrating 30 years of love with the vow renewal of our dreams. Hashtag blessed, hashtag love wins, hashtag dream come true." She looked at me, confused. "Wait, when was this?" "Last weekend, when I called them about finally scheduling my surgery." Her eyes went wide. "Ada, no. Please tell me they didn't." "They did," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "That's my surgery money. All of it." "How much did they spend?" "Look at that venue, the flower arrangements, the photographer's watermark. I recognize that company. They charge minimum $30,000 just for coverage. Add the venue, catering, and everything else." I felt sick. $50,000 easy, the exact amount they promised me. Jessica grabbed my shoulders. "Call them, right now." My phone rang before I could dial. "Mom," I answered on speaker. "Ada, sweetheart, did you see the pictures?" Mom's voice was bright, excited, completely oblivious. "I saw them," I managed. "Wasn't it absolutely magical? The venue was this gorgeous garden estate. We had a string quartet, and the florist created the most stunning arch. Everyone said it was the most beautiful ceremony they'd ever seen." "Mom, where did you get the money for all that?" There was a pause. "What do you mean, honey?" 2 weeks ago, you told me you couldn't help with my surgery because of financial difficulties. Now you're posting pictures from a party that clearly cost a fortune." "Oh, Ada, don't be dramatic. This was completely separate. Your father and I saved for this for years." "You told me last year that you had $50,000 set aside specifically for my surgery," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "You said it was in a separate account with my name on it." "Well, circumstances changed, sweetie. We needed this renewal. Our marriage needed this investment." "Investment? Mom, I need spinal surgery. I can barely stand for more than an hour without excruciating pain." "It's not life-threatening, though, is it?" Dad's voice joined in. "Dr. Morrison said it was quality of life, not an emergency. Our vow renewal was crucial for our emotional well-being." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So you lied to me? You promised me that money." "We didn't lie," Mom said, her tone turning cold. "We made a choice about our own money. We're allowed to do that." "It stopped being just your money when you promised it to me. I turned down help from Aunt Diane because you said you had it covered." "That was your decision," Dad said dismissively. "Maybe this will teach you not to depend on others so much." "You're my parents! And we don't owe you detailed explanations about how we spend our money," Mom snapped. "We worked hard for that money, and we deserved a beautiful ceremony. Stop being so selfish, Ada." "Selfish? I'm in pain every single day and you threw a party." "We're done discussing this," Dad said. "Goodbye, Ada." The line went dead. I stared at my phone in shock. Jessica looked equally stunned. Did they really just say all that?" she asked. "Yeah, they did." "Ada, you need to call a lawyer. This can't be legal." "Technically, it was their money," I said bitterly. "But they promised it to you. You made medical decisions based on that promise. You turned down other help." Jessica grabbed her phone. "I'm calling Patricia Chen. She's the lawyer who handled my contract dispute. She's tough, smart, and she doesn't lose." "Jessica, I don't know if—" "No, we're doing this. Your parents don't get to steal from you and face zero consequences." I thought about my mother's words. Stop being so selfish. About my father's dismissiveness. About that Instagram post with its carefully filtered photos and fake sentiment. Okay, I said quietly. Call her. Let's see what we can do. 2 days later, I sat in Patricia Chen's downtown office. She was in her mid-40s with sharp, intelligent eyes and an air of complete confidence. Let me make sure I understand, Patricia said, reviewing the notes she'd taken. Your parents explicitly promised you $50,000 for medical surgery, then spent that money on a vow renewal party instead? That's exactly what happened, I confirmed. And you have documentation of these promises? I pulled out a thick folder. Text messages where my mom confirms the amount, emails discussing surgery timelines, and this. I handed her my phone with a video queued up. Family dinner from last Thanksgiving. My dad's voice is clear. She pressed play. Dad's voice came through. Ada, stop worrying. We've got $50,000 in an account with your name on it. When you're ready to schedule the surgery, the money's there. We promise. Patricia's eyebrows raised. You recorded this? I was taking a video of my grandmother telling stories. Dad's statement is in the background, but it's completely audible. This is excellent, Patricia said. What else do you have? Jessica, sitting beside me, pulled out more papers. Ada's aunt offered her $20,000 last year. Ada declined in writing because her parents had already committed to covering the full cost. I also missed the deadline for my company's medical assistance grant, I added. I have the email from HR explaining that I didn't apply because I told them I had funding secured through family. Patricia leaned back in her chair. This is strong, very strong. But I need to be direct with you, Ada. Are you prepared for what this means? Suing your parents will destroy your relationship with them. They destroyed it when they chose Instagram likes over my health, I said firmly. What are we looking at legally? Jessica asked. Promissory estoppel, Patricia explained. When someone makes a promise, you rely on that promise to your detriment, and they break it, causing you harm. We can prove Ada turned down other opportunities, missed deadlines, and suffered worsening medical conditions because of their promise. What kind of consequences could they face? I asked. If we win, and based on this evidence, I'm confident we will, they'll have to pay the original amount plus damages, medical costs from delayed treatment, emotional distress, and our legal fees. How much total? Could be over $100,000, Patricia said. I felt a surge of satisfaction. Good. There's one more thing, I said, pulling up my phone again. At their vow renewal, they made speeches. 3 different guests posted videos. I want you to hear them. I played the first clip. Mom's voice, tearful and emotional. Our family is our greatest treasure, and we would sacrifice anything for those we love. Then Dad's. Our word is our bond, and our children are our legacy. We make promises to honor them, not break them. Patricia's face lit up with a fierce smile. Oh, this is perfect. They made public declarations about family values and keeping promises, then immediately broke the biggest promise they ever made to you. Can we use that in court? Jessica asked. Absolutely. It shows consciousness of the importance of promises, which makes their breach even more damaging. Ada, do you have medical records showing your condition worsened? Dr. Morrison has been documenting my case for 2 years. He's got notes showing he recommended immediate surgery, and my response is that I was waiting on funding to become available. Perfect. I'll need all of that, the vow renewal videos, and a list of everyone who heard your parents make these promises. Aunt Diane was there for multiple conversations, I said. Jessica, obviously. My grandmother heard it too, and 2 of my cousins. We'll depose them all. Now, Ada, I need you to prepare yourself. Your parents will fight back. They'll probably say terrible things about you. Are you ready for that? I thought about that phone call. Mom calling me selfish. Dad suggesting I needed to learn not to depend on others. I'm ready, I said. They already showed me exactly who they are. Let's make sure everyone else sees it too. The confrontation happened at Aunt Diane's dinner 2 weeks later. I walked in with Patricia, and Mom rushed over immediately. Ada, we've been so worried. You haven't answered our calls. Mom, Dad, this is Patricia Chen, my attorney. The room went silent. You're what? Mom's voice went shrill. I'm suing you for the $50,000 you promised me, plus damages for medical complications from delaying my surgery. Dad's face turned red. You can't sue your own parents. I pulled out my phone and played the Thanksgiving video. Dad's voice filled the room. We've got $50,000 in an account with your name on it. When you're ready to schedule the surgery, the money's there. We promise. Mom went pale. I also have texts, emails, and medical records, I continued, plus proof I turned down other help because you said you had it covered. This is blackmail, Dad shouted. No, Patricia said calmly. This is a legitimate case, and we have something else. I played Mom's vow renewal speech. Our family is our greatest treasure, and we would sacrifice anything for those we love. Then Dad's. Our word is our bond, and our children are our legacy. Beautiful words, I said. Too bad they were lies. How dare you? Mom whispered. How dare you? I needed surgery and you threw a party instead. That renewal saved our marriage, Dad yelled. Then go to therapy. You don't steal from your daughter. Aunt Diane stepped forward. Barbara Richard, I heard you promise Ada that money multiple times. I'm a witness in her lawsuit. So is Jessica and 5 other family members. Dad's face darkened. Sue us then. You'll get nothing and lose this family forever. I lost you when you chose social media over my health, I said. Now you face the consequences. See you in court. Judge Morrison reviewed the evidence, her expression stern. Mrs. Thompson, Mr. Thompson, did you promise your daughter $50,000 for necessary medical surgery? Their lawyer tried to speak, but the judge cut him off. I asked your clients directly. Mom cleared her throat. Your Honor, we discussed helping her, but did you make explicit promises to provide this specific amount for this medical procedure? Yes or no? Dad shifted uncomfortably. We said we would help, but we had to prioritize. So you admit you made promises, then spent that money on a party instead? It was a vow renewal ceremony, not a party. Which cost $50,000? Silence. There was detrimental reliance here. Miss Ada postponed surgery, turned down other assistance, missed grant deadlines, all based on your explicit promises. This is textbook promissory estoppel. She held up the vow renewal videos. And these speeches about family being your treasure and your word being your bond, you violated those statements in the cruelest way possible. We needed that ceremony, Mom protested. Our marriage was struggling. Then seek counseling. Don't fund it with money promised to your disabled daughter. Judge Morrison looked at Patricia. What is the plaintiff seeking? $50,000 for the original amount, $22,000 in medical damages, $30,000 in emotional distress, $15,000 in legal fees, total of $117,000. We don't have that, Mom gasped. You had $50,000 for a party. You'll find a way. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff on all counts. You'll pay within 90 days or face asset seizure. This will ruin us, Dad said desperately. You should have thought of that before spending your daughter's surgery money on Instagram photos. In the hallway, my parents intercepted me. Ada, please, Mom cried. We're so sorry. Can't we work through this as a family? You had multiple chances. Every time, you chose pride over doing the right thing. We're your parents. Doesn't that mean anything? Real parents don't abandon their children when they need medical care. You chose a party over my ability to walk without pain. That tells me everything about what I mean to you. 6 weeks later, I had my surgery. The procedure was successful. For the first time in years, I could walk without constant pain. My parents paid the full judgment. They took out a second mortgage and sold their luxury car. Their social media went dark after the truth spread. Their friends weren't so supportive once they learned what happened. They've tried contacting me dozens of times. Emails apologizing, texts begging forgiveness, letters claiming they'd learned their lesson and wanted to rebuild. I didn't respond. Not because I'm cruel, but because I finally understood. Forgiveness isn't mandatory, and reconciliation isn't required. They made their choice. They chose appearances over my health, pride over responsibility, social media validation over their daughter's well-being. Some people say I'm too harsh, that family should forgive family, but real family shows up when it matters. Real family keeps promises about medical care. Real family doesn't make you choose between their egos and your health. The surgery changed everything. Being pain-free is incredible, but the emotional change matters more. I learned that standing up for yourself isn't selfish. That documentation is power. That promises have meaning and consequences. That sometimes the people who should love you most will betray you in unimaginable ways. But I also learned I'm strong enough to demand accountability. That justice is possible. That I don't need people in my life who treat me as less important than their public image, even if they gave birth to me. My parents wanted a beautiful ceremony celebrating their commitment. Instead, they got a court judgment proving they can't keep promises. They wanted Instagram perfection. They got public exposure of their cruelty. They wanted me to accept their betrayal quietly. They got accountability instead. And I sleep better knowing I stood up for myself. Have you ever had family members who prioritized their wants over your genuine needs? What would you do if someone broke a major promise that affected your health or future? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.